Welcome back to more Dual Destinies. We investigated Ninetales Vale, talked to some people, met a French man who liked to tickle his flower, and now we are going to be in court today. So this is going to be a day. We're also going to be meeting our new prosecutor. Well, we know his name at least. And we know that he's a convicted killer or whatever they say. So let's see what kind of guy he is whenever he shows up. Hey, Gorl. Yeah? You okay, Athena? You've been really antsy ever since we got here.
I'm just excited. This is my first real court case after all.
Yeah, a real ball of excitement she is. I know just what she needs. A ball. Athena!
Hey! Did you ever learn about indoor and outdoor voices?
I'm just trying to show you the best way to relieve your pre-trial jitters.
By scaring the daylights out of me?
No, I find that shouting, "I'm fine!" in a loud voice really relieves stress. It's part of my Cords of Steel voice workout, and a must before every trial.
You want me to shout? Here?
That's right. Here, I'll go first, and then you try. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine!
Alright. I'm Athena Cykes.
And I'm fine!
I think that actually worked.
Okay, well, if it works for you, then that's all that matters. I thought it might help. Always works for me. An old friend of mine from junior high and I say it all the time. Sorry, that brought back memories of something.
I see. A proven remedy to calm the soul. I like it. Hey, how about we finish off with a race around the courthouse?
The point is to relieve stress, not get totally exhausted. Come on, if Rock Lee and Guy Sensei can do it, you can do it too, Apollo. You guys are kind of like related. Oh my goodness, it's Nick! We haven't seen him since the last time we saw him. What's with all the racket, you two? Ah, Mr. Wright. Hey, just a little voice workout. Hey, what's with the suit?
What, you don't like it?
Oh, this? I was just thinking about getting my attorney's badge back, that's all. Oh, he doesn't have it back yet? Oh, I guess he doesn't. Imagine if he didn't get the badge back today. That's all? That's huge news! But why now? I have a feeling I'll be needed in the courtroom again sometime soon. Did you will the first case to happen? Is that your doing, Nick? Is it all your fault? Do you see that crease though on his eye right over there? The shadow? Fascinating detail work. But we could talk about that another time. No fair. Inquiring minds want to know. But wow. He looked so much more handsomer in 2D Pixel when he was Hobo Nick. Here he kind of just looks like Hobo, but like in 2D he looked like handsome Hobo. I'm so used to him in his usual laid-back clothes. Still so handsome, it's okay, you're still handsome, you know. That suit makes him look like $1 million. It's true, you're right. And you should say it again. By the way, have you heard about the prosecutor assigned to this case? Yeah, he's serving time, but before that, he was a prosecutor. He also uses psychology? That's right. I've heard the rumors about how he was back before his conviction. How he was back before his conviction. I used the wrong intonation for that. Using the power of suggestion, he could make even the most stalwart defendants confess. Psychology in the courtroom. I've been hearing that a lot lately. I didn't read that right, but it's okay. So, he must be a pretty scary guy, considering he's a prison inmate and all? So they say. They also say he'll cut you down if you talk too much. Nick! I knew he was gonna be bad news! Well, you can't, if he's a convicted killer, surely they're not gonna allow him to brandish a weapon. He's no, like, what's his name? Kazuma. Ooh, I literally almost forgot his name. Oh, him laughing. What a gentle face. I love that. Ha ha ha. I still can't laugh. It's probably just hyperbole. At least I hope for your sake. Wait, so is it true or not? Such a gentle mentor, like, laugh. Let's just say you should be concise and choose your words carefully. If you'd like to keep that head of yours attached to the rest of your body, that is. Listen, I don't think I will be in actual physical danger. There's going to be police around, and Bobby Fulbright, right? He'll be there to protect us, or whatever. Hopefully, maybe. I don't know. They let the prosecutors get away with a lot of abuse in this courtroom. Yikes. I better tone down my Cords of Steel, too. So, are you all ready? It might be a good idea to check the court record again before stepping into the ring. Honestly, good call. It's like they knew I took like a 2-week break. That's that. I've checked it. I didn't check it thoroughly, but I've checked it enough. I should be fine. I should be Daijobu desu. Right, Mr. Wright. But I'm Daijobu desu, as you'd say in Japanese. I'll be watching from the gallery. Good luck. Where's Athena? I'm surprised she didn't oh, there she is.
Okay, let's do this.
The odds of pulling this off are ridiculously low, but that's nothing new. True, you've been here long enough, see? You understand the ways. Believe in our client, seek the truth. That's all we can do. Hang in there, Mayor Tenma. Here comes justice. It's time for the introduction of our new prosecutor, right? Oh, no. All rise. I'm not getting up, but I mean, everyone else can get up. Court is now in session for the trial of Damien Tenma. Apollo Justice, defense team leader, is ready, Your Honor. I know that big booming voice anywhere. As chipper as ever, eh, Mr. Justice? But who's the young lady next to you?
I'm Athena Cykes, Mr. Justice junior partner, and fresh out of law school.
Well now, full of beans too. Full of beans too, huh? No wonder it smells so gassy in here. Excellent. Makes an old man feel young again. Now for the prosecution. It appears the prosecution is not ready yet. Okay, well then the court is Never fear, for I shall explain. It's just a minor procedural complication, Your Honor. He killed every single person on the way here. We're trying to like clean up the mess right now. The prosecutor for this case is being escorted from prison as we speak. I'm surprised you're not the one escorting him to prison. Oh yes, of course. I almost forgot that he's currently serving time, and yet I'm letting him into my courtroom. It's so bizarre. What a life we live. Is this okay? This is where I was like, what, I thought the cutscene was gonna happen before, but here it is. Spooky. Good morning. Looks a little rough in the anime cutscenes, but his spray is pretty good. Who's that with his back to us over there? Who do you think?
That's him. I'm sure of it. Prosecutor Blackwell.
Is the prosecution ready? I don't got a voice for you, dog. If I was as talented as, like, fucking Little Karibo, I'd give him the Seto Kaiba voice, but I'm not, so what am I supposed to do? Enough jabbering. Get on with it already. That's not gonna stick. I know his voice is gonna fluctuate, but it's okay. We'll just have to accept the fact that I'm not talented enough to do voices. Of course, forgive me. Why are all the people related to this case so scary? Very well, Prosecutor Blackwell. Your opening statement, if you please. What's the matter? I forgot he was in cuffs. Ah, yes. I'm waiting for his music to kick in. Let me hear his music. He has a really good theme. Must we continue to further away time like this? It is all right there in the indictment. An opening statement would be pointless. Yeah, it's so good. Pointless. Oh, well. It looks like the cat, or in this case, the prosecutor, has the judge's tongue. But, we need an opening statement as an overview of the case at hand. Well then, your boldness. If it's so very important, why don't you do the honors? Oh, me? Oh my goodness. Oh, I would love to. There's a term for people who whine and fuss about how they need silly, useless things, and then decide they no longer want them once it's theirs. A selfish old fool. Oh, I'm not old!
Wait, was that the prosecution's opening statement?
Old dotard, what is that word? Is it like people who play Dota? Old dotards such as you are a plague upon the young. I pity your poor grandchildren. Or is it great-grandchildren?
Stop picking on the child! No! You're so mean, Blackwell.
All these years, I thought the opening statement was the prosecutor's job. But I suppose I could give it a try. It might be a nice change of pace.
You know, honestly, fair. You don't do a whole... There's not a lot of activity going on your end, you know? You're just, like, there listening to people talk, so you might as well talk some more yourself. What? He actually fell for that? That must have been the power of suggestion Mr. Wright was talking about.
The opening statement, huh? Let's see here. The victim was once Rex QB, alderman of the Ninetails Vale. The defendant, Damien Tenma, mayor of Tenma Town, is accused of his murder. And why, pray tell, was the mayor arrested? His prints were on the murder weapon, oh my. Plus, he had a motive, the elimination of the biggest roadblock to the municipal merger. The caretaker and the secretary, other potential suspects, both have alibis. And his daughter, who was also in the vicinity at the time of the incident, has no motive. So, in a nutshell, I'd have to say the charges against the defendant are incontrovertible. Bravo, your boldness. Your years of experience shine bright like your head. Ho ho ho! Oh, flattery will get you everywhere. Merry Christmas.
He's playing Simon Says with the judge. Is that why they named him Simon? Oh my god.
Moving right along now. Let's hear from our first witness for today, Detective Fulbright.
Sup, dog?
Witness, please state your name and occupation.
I am the defendant. Oh, wait, what? You are not the defendant. You are very much not the defendant. I am the detective assigned to this case, Bobby Fulbright. Oh, and I'll also be keeping tabs on old Blackwell here. Even though you weren't the one who brought him in here, but you know, whatever.
I also heard you would provide protection if it ever came to that. It would seem that I have been sorely underestimated.
Wait, who's protecting who from what?
Still, I truly believe anyone can turn their life around. Even old Blackwell he... Oh! Fulbright. Oh yeah, save your platitudes for funerals. Get on with your statement. Ha ha ha! That's the spirit! Justice must be swift and true. I see it in your eyes. There is hope for your rehabilitation and return to society. I will never give up on you. I'm never gonna give you up. Oh damn, I took too long to make that reference. Dang it!
Prosecutor Blackwell doesn't seem to intimidate Detective Fulbright.
Well, you know what they say. Ignorance is bliss.
Oh, so that's why Detective Fulbright was assigned to Blackwell. He's so oblivious. He's such a dunce. He's a stupid dookie head.
Now, let's have your first statement, Detective Fulbright. You got it! But first, I'd like to say to the defense that justice will ultimately prevail.
Sure. I mean, I'm justice. So that means I'll prevail, yeah? That's the whole joke?
Alderman QB was murdered with a spear that had been on the wall. The fingerprints of the defendant, Damien Tenma, were found on the murder weapon. At the time, Alderman QB was asleep from a drug he unwittingly ingested. Mayor Tenma attacked his helpless victim, impaling him like a human shish kebab. But the sudden pain jolted the victim awake, and he grabbed a statue and struck back.
Alderman QB had been slipped some kind of sleep-inducing drug?
That's right. The accused was scared because the alderman was a former pro wrestler. So he slipped him a drug to make sure he'd be out cold and defenseless. Here's the autopsy report to prove it. And the victim managed to attack his attacker, despite being impaled by a spear? That sounds almost superhuman. Is it even possible? Well, he was a former pro wrestler after all. That spear was probably nothing more than a mosquito bite to him.
I don't know if that's true.
Not so fast. Don't try to brush it all off by saying the alderman had been a pro wrestler. Do you really expect us to believe he could fight back after being skewered by a spear? You never heard of the incredible feats of which a man is capable of in a pinch, have you? Like the samurai of yore, wrestlers can battle through intense pain. It sharpens their senses. I used to talk about it with a former wrestler I met in the clink.
I don't know. Still sounds a little far-fetched.
Does it now? Then perhaps we should test the theory on you with the edge of my blade.
I didn't sign up for this. Oh. All right. So your life is spared. For now.
He was gonna point at us. Oh man, that's gonna kill us for sure. Please let those shackles be made of titanium. I don't want to die.
Ha ha! My investigations are as thorough as they are foolproof, or my name isn't Fulbright. I vow to resign immediately if I ever make a false arrest. The accused's prints were on the weapon, and he's the one person without an alibi. Quite decisive evidence. Wouldn't you agree, your boldness? The defendant is sounding guiltier by the minute.
Yes, the judge leaning towards a guilty verdict, and the trial's just barely begun. Maybe if you said something at justice, I was about to say.
What's more, a curious rumor about the accused is making the rounds. They say he seeks the murder for the purpose of freeing Tenma Taro from his imprisonment. Truth be told, I can think of no real reason to show interest in that backwards bird. Perhaps he's a complete
what? Oh, I thought he said complete mutter. I was like, what?
Perhaps he's a complete nutter and really does seek to release an imaginary demon. Either way, he is raving mad and more than capable of murdering the alderman.
That mayor is a strange one, alright. I heard he went on to a blood drive, but instead of donating, he tried to make a withdrawal. Stupid.
Order! There will be no gossiping in my court! Your boldness. Please take a gander at those charms plastered across his cranium. I hear they meant to keep him safe from possession by the demon Tenma Taro. Then again.
What?
Perhaps he's already under the demon's spell.
Oh.
Behold! The lunatic appears poised to lunge at you at any moment.
The rumors and quirks of Mayor Tenma have no relevance to this case. Besides, those charms on his head, they're just a fashion statement. I think.
Come to think of it, such things don't seem relevant to the case, do they?
The prosecution will refrain from dragging our client's reputation through the mud.
Oh, what a dreadfully fearsome lass we have here.
Phew. Thanks for that lifeline, Athena. I wouldn't have done anything to combat it. Careful, Apollo! He has the judge dancing in the palm of his hands! The power of suggestion is one of the more powerful tools in Simon Blackhole's arsenal. He's trying to manipulate everyone's impression to suit his objectives.
Why does she sound like she has all the experience with with like being in the court? She just got here.
This guy really is bad news.
In any case, seems the victim did manage to defend himself despite being impaled. What sort of weapon did he use against his attacker? None other than the statue right here. It appears to be a statue of two strange creatures locked in battle. Two yokai to be exact. On one side is a nine-tailed fox, and the other Tenma Taro. Quite interesting if you think about it. It's as though this very case were rendered in art.
What? How'd you know?
Updated. Mr. Justice, you may proceed with the cross-examination.
Our first cross-examination! Hooray! Do I want to press everything? Damn, that's a lot of fucking work.
I guess I'll press everything. So, those weapons on the wall are the Fox Chamber. I presume those are real?
Don't you think keeping real weapons around like that is kinda dangerous?
No matter what he collected, the alderman insisted it to be the real deal. For instance, he had a real demon's club in his possession. Apparently, one of his ancestors claimed it after defeating a demon in battle. What? That's got to be an old wives' tale. Ha ha ha! The alderman had a pure, unadulterated justice flowing in his veins.
Whatever he did it right! We've lost a real champion of justice in his death! His hair goes back. I already forget what his hair looked like. It looks so long. He looks like think of a different cartoon character that has like sharp hair like that. Maybe the guy from Crash Bandicoot? I'm not sure.
Nothing but claptrap and boulder dash if you ask me. Now, stop your bleating and tell us about the weapon.
So this updated, the mayor's blood was found on it, but no prints could be lifted. I'm about to fucking cramp my damn leg. Was he wearing gloves during this? Like, why are there no prints on it? He didn't have gloves. It's a fucking bitch old lie. Was anything else updated? Oh no, autopsy report was added. Cause of death, stabbed with a spear. Time of death around 3:20. The victim had been in a drug-induced slumber. The blah blah blah. He grabbed a statue and striked back. Well, let me press this first, and then I think I'm gonna present something from this statement. I just don't know what I'm gonna present. Could he really have attacked his attacker after being impaled with that huge spear?
Absolutely. After all, he was once a pro wrestler. The injustice of being drugged, then speared was answered with a righteous counterattack.
But does being a former pro wrestler make him superhuman?
Absolutely. After all, he was one of the good guys, like a superhero on the side of justice. Even though he was retired, he could still don his superhero guise in times of need.
You need to lay off the comic books, detective. We're talking about real life here.
Setting aside the half-wit's flight of fantasy, the fact is this. The court-ordered post-mortem concluded that the victim moved after his skewering.
So he found the strings somehow to attack his attacker, huh? Detective Fulbright's testimony sounds all airtight. No wonder he's so confident.
No, he only thinks it's airtight. It's up to us to poke some holes in it. That part about the alderman fighting back sounds like a big hole waiting to be poked. We really need to poke something into something, alright? We gotta poke a poke. So it's either I present the statue because it had no fingerprint on it, or I post the crime photo because it shows that he has no gloves in his hand? Which one? Nope, that was wrong. Okay. It was confusing at first because it was either gonna be the statue or the crime photo, but the statue he had just updated. Was it during this cross-examination or before cross-examination? So I wasn't sure if we were expected to use it right away. Did the alderman really strike the mayor? What? Are you questioning my sense of justice?
Yeah, your so-called justice needs to find itself a pair of legs to stand on. And you can't have mine, even if my name is Justice. You claim the alderman struck back after the mayor put a spear through him. But the statue he supposedly used to defend himself creates a major hole in your theory.
It would appear that the defense has a counter-argument. Very well. Let's hear what the defense thinks is odd about the detective's statue theory.
No fingerprints. There were no fingerprints on this supposedly crucial piece of evidence. And if you look at the crime scene photo, you'll notice that the alderman isn't wearing gloves.
Yes, I believe he is quite gloveless indeed.
If he touched the statue with his bare hands, he should have left some fingerprints.
Detective Fulbright, you did take that into account during your investigation, didn't you? This can't be happening! Did I arrest the wrong man?
You did it, Apollo! You knocked Detective Fulbright off his high horse!
Well, it's just 1 point in our favor.
Who do you suppose clubbed the mayor if it wasn't the alderman?
Well, if it wasn't the alderman, that means someone else must have clubbed the mayor.
You mean there was a third party there in the Fox chamber?
Exactly. And this could be the big break we've been looking for. There does seem to be a hole in the prosecution's argument. Prosecutor Blackwell, would you care to respond to the defense's assertion?
The least you could do is look at me while being dismissive.
Your mind is as dull as an unhoned blade, Justice Dono.
Oh, I forgot he addresses people with Dono.
Oh my god.
Justice Dono?
He's been watching too many samurai flicks. It will take far more than that to cut down Simon Blackwell. It's hard because when you get an initial look at him, it's hard to gauge that he's like, he's got a whole like samurai theme thing going on with him, right? Because his attire, it takes a little bit of inspiration from like that period with the emblem and stuff like that. Like, I can see someone from, not Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer wearing something like this, but like, especially because of his name too, it's hard to remember that he's into samurai stuff. A whelp such as you has no hope against my superior swordsmanship.
This is a trial, not a sword fight, Prosecutor Blackwell, dumb bitch.
There's a perfectly good explanation for the lack of prints on the statue. You might recall that blood-stained cloth found at the scene of the crime. Well, it just so happens that the blood was the mayor's.
So, what are you getting at?
Does he eventually... See, in the original 2D sprite of this, when he's like scratching his head, at some point the two horns on like his hair pops out and then sticks back up, so he doesn't end up doing the repeating motion. But I guess it's not gonna happen here.
Boring!
Hone your mind, boy. Why was there blood on that cloth? Solve that riddle, and you shall see that the hole you thought you'd found is but an illusion.
Now let's see. How was that cloth used?
Was it used to wrap the statue? I guess. Must be. Maybe the alderman wrapped the statue in the cloth.
In short, he wasn't touching the statue directly when he used it to strike back at the mayor.
Precisely. Bully for you, boy.
I don't remember how things go down, but even if the statue was wrapped in the cloth, the amount of time it takes for it to make impact on someone's head would not be long enough for blood to seep through the cloth and then onto the statue as thick as it did. Because you don't hit someone on the head with something and like keep it laying on that person's head, especially if you're just whacking it with it and not like a stabbing motion. So that doesn't make any sense. But I don't know if Apollo's gonna say that. I don't know if the game's gonna acknowledge that.
It was nothing.
Apollo! Don't let him start manipulating you too! You just closed the hole for the prosecution!
I did? Oh. I did! Right. That a statue wrapped in cloth would leave no fingerprints is as plain as day. But this also proves there are no holes in our theory of the alderman striking back.
Oops. 2 pages. Oh, because it has a cloth on it now. Statues has traces of blood from the defendant. It is apparently wrapped in a large cloth in which the defendant's blood was also found. No fingerprints could be lifted from the cloth. We went from, oh, they used the statue to hit. Oh, no fingerprints on the statue. Ah, but it was covered in a cloth. Oh, there's no fingerprints on the fucking cloth. It's like, okay, whatever. I'll make sure to sharpen it next time.
A particularly frightening inmate once told me that he always tenderly honed his blades before he went to work, like the samurai of yore.
Samurai? Sounds more like a homicidal maniac to me. I was gonna say sounds more like a butcher, but
actually, he was working in the prison kitchen at the time. Okay, well.
Wait, so the inmate was a murdering samurai prison chef? Oh, kooky.
It would seem that the victim and his killer were the only ones there after all.
I was kind of attached to that hole. Well, now what? Are you not gonna fucking bring up... Okay. Apollo, I just thought of something. If they didn't find anyone's fingerprints on the statue, who's to say someone other than the alderman didn't hit the mayor with it?
Oh, why didn't I think of that? Anybody could have not left prints on it. Athena, you're so smart. I'm so dumb. Why am I here? Then who, pray tell, struck the mayor with the statue? Please, illuminate us with your wisdom, young lady.
There's only one answer. The real killer.
Prove the existence of this real killer, then. What evidence have you?
Oh, I'll give you evidence, all right. Athena, are you sure about this? To borrow your words, Apollo, I'm fine. Take a look at this. Black feathers and tracks allegedly from a yokai were found at the scene. I believe they're from the third party who struck the mayor with a statue.
Is the defense actually suggesting some sort of monster killed that alderman?
That's exactly what I'm suggesting. No, Athena! You just lost what little credibility we had left! Oh! So sorry! Guess I got carried away.
Mr. Justice, we have no time to deal with objections between members of the defense.
Sorry, Your Honor. It's just this kid's still, a kid. Ouch. You mean he? I'm reporting this to Mr. Wright. I mean, he's in the gallery. Go ahead. Go cry to him.
So, is this court to believe that the feathers and tracks are from a yokai, as you put it?
No, Your Honor. I believe they are a fabrication. The real killer wants us to believe some sort of monster murdered the alderman.
Interesting. Why do you suppose the killer would do that?
Why indeed?
Mr. Justice, you seem as new to this as your partner is.
Ew! This I'm not reporting to Mr. Wright. He's in the gallery, you bozo!
Hoy, Fulbright. Hoy? Explain to his baldness what these brats are missing.
What the hell is a hoy?
You know, the who and why behind those feathers and trucks.
What? You mean you can explain all that?
Ha ha ha! Our investigative prowess is without equal, because we have money back from the government.
I'm starting to think I chose the wrong profession.
Very well, let's hear about these so-called yokai feathers and trucks.
This entire case centers on one man's attempt to crush opposition to the municipal merger. Mayor Tenma panicked when the Amazing Nine Tails helped embolden the protesters. So he stoked the villagers' fears by fabricating a monster. The strange feathers and tracks he planted made it look like a yokai was the killer. I can't believe it. Those feathers and tracks stoked the villagers' fears? Absolutely! He knew exactly how to prey on their superstitious minds. Those feathers only gave way to the idea the alderman was slain by a demon. I think I'm doing the same voice that I gave to what's his name from Greatest Attorney, Barak von Cater something, whatever. The accursed demon Tenma Taro, that is. Tenma who? Tenma Taro, the legendary demon locked away in the villager's forbidden chamber. Ah! Every time I see his face, I always just want to go ah! From a young age, the villagers are taught to fear the great black feathered demon, and thus were they blinded to other, more plausible explanations. Hold on for a second. Before we start letting our imaginations run wild, isn't there someone else that could be considered a suspect? Mr. Justice, please explain yourself. On the day of the incident, there was a special event held at QB Manor, and as part of the event, there was someone dressed in the likeness of Tenma Taro. Obviously, this person is a much more likely suspect than any legendary demon. Whoa, Igiari. Dullard, you are playing right into the killer's mind games. What? Listen here. The feathers and tracks were merely red herrings. The villagers believed the murder to be the work of the real Tenma Taro. However, the police believe that the person in the Tenma Taro suit is the killer. The defendant sought to sow this confusion in order to deflect blame away from himself. However, he was knocked unconscious by the alderman, and thus, our mentally deficient mayor was caught red-handed at the scene of the crime. Do you honestly believe Mayor Tenma would do something so stupid? The evidence speaks for itself. Fulbright. Right. It was the mayor's last-ditch effort to stop the opposition before things got crazy. The Amazing Nine Tails was fueling both the yokai craze and the anti-merger movement. Plus, he's one of the better-known masked wrestlers and a hometown favorite. That's why the mayor panicked and set out on a path of injustice. But do the people of Nine Tails really believe a yokai is behind the crime? Yokai sightings are an everyday event there, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I must say, a crime that preys upon innocent, impressionable minds. What? What's the rest of that? Oh, I thought there was going to be more to that statement. Just so. Particularly silver-tongued inmate once had the following words for me. He made so much friends in jail, he's so social. Innocence of heart are the easiest praise. You don't say! Was this inmate a con artist? No. He was framed for the murder of his beloved. I actually felt sorry for the poor chap. Wait, so he wasn't the predator, but rather the prey? Yes, well, now then, the defense may proceed with their cross-examination. Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest, I wasn't listening to anything they were saying there. I kinda just like zoned out for a bit. I don't know if there's anything that directly is a contradiction. So I guess this is one that I have to press to get more info. Detective Fulbright, is the anti-merger movement really that strong? Oh, absolutely! They parade around in yokai costumes shouting down with Mayor Tenma. And just the other day, they stormed Tenma City Hall, claiming it was a den of vipers. What a nuisances. But when the accused showed his face, the angry mob scattered like leaves upon an autumn wind. For you see, lowly yokai are no match for Tenma Taro, the dark lord of their kind. Wait, are the villagers scared of Mayor Tenma or Tenma Taro? I'm confused. I think he means Mayor Tenma. It's easy to get the wrong impression about the guy. Okay. The Amazing Nine Tails. No one knows his true identity, right? That's right. He was a lone wolf, or in other words, he didn't belong to a wrestling federation. You say he was a lone fox, haha. He appeared like a shooting star, defeating one Tenma Town wrestler after another. And before anyone knew it, he was champion. Like the samurai of yore, surrounded thick with enemies, he cut them down one by one. It was a complete and utter loss of face for Tenma Town Pro Wrestling. He
was amazing! If ever there was a real superhero, it would be him! I dream of becoming a true champion of justice like him someday!
I bet Detective Fulbright would be a great pro wrestler. He could even team up with Prosecutor Blackwolf. A police detective and a prisoner in chains? I mean, it would make for like a nice themed duo, I guess. You know, I think people would actually pay to see that. I know I would. I wouldn't, but you know. Ha ha ha! So you do understand the greatness that is the amazing Nine Tails. He stoked the villagers' fears. Did the murder and yokai evidence really stoke the villagers' fears?
Absolutely! It had an immediate effect. The presumed return of the dreaded Tenma Taro had them shaking their boots. Oh my! Is it really that bad? The superstitious lot. It's as if Jack the Ripper had been set loose in their village. The mere thought of that demon lurking about is enough to spark a mass exodus. I see. That's a very persuasive argument.
The mere thought of his honor buying into Simon the Psycho Slasher's words makes me want to spark my own exodus out of the courtroom right about now.
So you see, there could be only one reason why anyone would plant those feathers and tracks.
Strange feathers and tracks he planted made it look like a yokai was a killer. But it doesn't add up. If what you say is true, why top it off with murder?
Huh? What do you mean?
You claim that our client planted the yokai evidence to stoke the villagers' fears. If so, then why not stop there? Why murder Alderman QB?
Excellent point.
It is, isn't it? So, your honor agrees that there's no reason for the murder, correct?
Perhaps the killing was on the spur of the moment.
You're saying it wasn't premeditated?
From the outset, I had no intention of paying a heed to any of your babble. However, the fact is, the mayor made a startling discovery.
A startling discovery? Why don't I like the sound of that?
Alderman QB's secret identity.
Apollo! I think Prosecutor Blackwell has figured out the Alderman's secret identity.
You mean... I love that Blackwell just said Alderman's secret identity. Athena goes, Apollo, I think he knows his secret identity. As if he didn't just mutter the words Alderman's secret identity.
But even if it has, why would it be a motive for the mayor to commit murder? This is not good.
This patch of fur was discovered at the crime scene. It's from the mask worn by the amazing Nine Tails. Therefore, we can conclude that this mask was at the crime scene. Oh my! But why would it have been there? Oh, my fucking back hurts. The victim was a former pro wrestler and a member of the anti-murder movement. Need I say more? Well, could it really be? Your baldness has had an epiphany, I see. Our victim, Rex QB, was the amazing Nine Tails. And the mayor's discovery of this fact was his motive for the murder.
No!
It doesn't really mean much to anyone but me, but I appreciate the fact that Bobby has his pants, the end of his pants rolled up, and it shows his ankles, because that's kind of how I be strutting. Order! Order! What a shocking development! A motive clearer than crystal clear.
What do we do now, Apollo? I didn't think they tied the Alderman's secret identity to the mayor's motive for murder.
At last, we have reached my real point. Why did the Alderman have to forge a secret identity? Does it not pique your interest, your baldness, or as they say, piqued? I admit it does. It is odd that he had to create this other persona, just to secretly participate in the anti-murder movement.
Maybe he just missed being a wrestler.
Very astute of you, your baldness. Right, now take a look at this!
Hi, what? Oh, it's the, yeah.
If you value your dearest life, you will merge Nine Tails Vales with Tenma Town. This blackmailed letter was found in Alderman QB's pockets! At present, the Alderman's wife is in the hospital. What did she do? And that letter is clear evidence that the mayor was blackmailing him by threatening her life.
Wait, didn't the blackmail letter sent to Mayor Tenma go missing? Right after the Alderman's murder? You think maybe the killer took the letter from the mayor after the murder and planted it into Alderman's pockets? It's possible, but we don't have any proof that that's what happened.
Can you well, I was gonna say, can you scan the letter for fingerprints? But I guess if you found Tenma's fingerprints on it, it'd make it look like he's the one who had it in his hand, planted it.
Talk about being up a creek without a paddle.
Mayor Tenma would have made a clean getaway if he had just left after planting the yokai's things. But he was knocked out cold by a sudden decision to kill the Amazing Ninetails. So, it was Amazing Ninetails' counterattack that brought the entire crime to light.
Wait a sec. Fulbright's claiming that the mayor killed the alderman after planting the yokai evidence? And that the mayor was knocked out cold immediately after that?
Detective Fulbright, please add your previous statement to your testimony. I'm guessing that has to do with the positioning of some things, how it couldn't have happened. Okay, I have a glare on my screen, but I believe that the feathers are sitting on top of the blood pool, so the timing is wrong. Cool. Easy peasy. Detective Fulbright, your sense of justice is anything but fair. What's this? You dare question my justice again? Yes, and I'm going to prove it to you. Take a look at this photo. This is the crime scene photo. Just what does this prove?
It proves when the feathers and tracks were planted.
But I already told you, they were planted before the murder. The defendant planted the yokai evidence, then was knocked out while killing his victim.
But that would be impossible. If you look right here, it's clear when the feathers and tracks were left at the scene.
There's more feathers here, right? Yeah, there are. Aren't you just pointing at the yokai feathers and tracks, Mr. Justice?
Yes. See how the feathers are on top of the blood? And the tracks were made in blood? In other words, the yokai evidence could have only resulted after the murder.
Then the mayor must have planted the evidence after killing the alderman.
But you said it yourself. The mayor had been knocked unconscious thereafter. There would have been no time for him to plant any evidence at all. Therefore, there must have been someone else besides the mayor and the alderman at the crime scene.
Ah! There must be some mistake! Order! Oh my god, we can see him banging his gavel. Okay. Where is your evidence? You can't possibly have any, can you?
Ha 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 ha! I just showed the evidence by pointing it in the crime scene. Huh? Evidence? Oh, I have evidence. In fact, I have an eyewitness's testimony for you. Oh, Jinxies?
You do? But how? Was my vaunted sense of justice really just half-baked?
He's so cute. He's taking this really hard.
Mr. Justice, what is this testimony regarding a third party that you claim to have?
I have it right here, Your Honor. It's the sworn testimony of Mr. Tenma's daughter. The witness, Jinxie Tenma, saw a yokai in the hallway after stumbling upon the scene. It was the demon, Tenma Taro.
He's the source of those feathers and tracks.
Will somebody please say something?
The defense will explain to the court exactly what he means. You dare to mock this court and justice itself! You're unfit to bear your name, boy! Your boldness. It appears our defense attorney here is delirious from exhaustion.
Apollo! Think of something quick before you're held in contempt of court! Don't fucking object, or what'd you say, hold it?
What do you think I'm trying to do?
Before you decide whether I should step down, please, hear me out.
Very well, Mr. Justice. I'm all ears, but you had better explain yourself well. What was this yokai you were talking about?
It's all in the statement here. Jinxie Tenma asserts that she saw Tenma Taro after she discovered the crime scene and called the police. She came around a corner in the hall. It was right around here.
Justin Timberlake, yeah.
That she saw Tenma Taro fleeing towards the foyer. The defense asserts that whoever was impersonating this monster is the one who left those feathers and tracks behind, intentionally or otherwise.
What? How incredibly unjust! Why haven't I heard about this before?
The defense just proved there was someone else. So the mayor wasn't the killer. Was it all set up? The prosecutor was a convicted felon after all. Apollo! The momentum has shifted in our favor. Good. Now let's keep it that way.
Iggy.
What if I talk like that?
Little do you realize that though you are in the midst of a fray, your sword is broken.
Would that work? Is that better? My sword? I didn't know I had one to break. Yeah, it's your peepee. Are you implying that there's a problem with my claim?
Consider this. If that yokai impersonator had indeed fled towards the foyer, that fool and that fop would have seen him.
Fool and fop? Oh, you mean Filch and Blabelle? Now that you mention it.
Oh, Phineas Filch and Florence LaBelle were in the foyer at the time. But they haven't stated that they saw a yokai, have they? Did you ever consider that yokai was but a figment of a scared little girl's imagination?
Ugh, why didn't those two see Tenmataro impersonator pass by? Why don't we ask them ourselves? I was just about to say that myself. Stop fucking me. The defense would like to call Mr. Phineas Filch, caretaker of QB Manor, to the stand. I just know he must have seen something.
I suppose we can't ignore the fact that the little girl believes she saw a monster. I trust you have no objections to the Mr. Justice's request, Prosecutor Blackwell. I understand that Mr. Filch is enjoying a nap out in the lobby. I knew that Tanuki was a rare find. But when we captured him, I didn't think he'd end up a witness. Do with him as you will.
If he's not here to be a witness, then why the hell is he here? Did he just say captured? No, wait. I don't want to know.
Very well. Bailiff, please go wake Mr. Filch and escort him to the witness stand.
And we're gonna hear what he has to say the next episode. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the introduction of our new prosecutor friend, Simon Blackwell, and I hope that you enjoyed the variation of voices I've been giving him because I can't do anything. And until then, we'll see what Mr. Filchy Filch has to say next time.